Welcome back to the podcast. Today, we're talking about a quiet type of discomfort. It's the kind that shows up after success in your life. When everything on the outside looks great, looks fine, it's great, it's fabulous, but something inside feels just a little bit off. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Flora, certified simplification coach and 7-time author. And for over 28 years, I've been helping women like you align into a life and a business that you are wildly obsessed with by helping you clear out the 9 types of clutter keeping you from a life that you love. What are those 9 types of clutter? They are mental, spiritual, emotional, digital, financial, daily, body, process, and environmental clutter. Please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know every single time an episode is released. And again, today we're going to look at the moments in our life when we've achieved our goal. We've had success. We've gotten success that we've worked so hard for, but something feels off and we're like, what the heck? Like, what is going on here? And there's this moment that hits so many high-performing women that I work with. And most of us never say this thing out loud. And so I wanted to share my story with you because every single time that I share it, I get so many comments and emails from people saying, thank you for saying the quiet part out loud. Thank you. And then they usually tell me their story. So one day I woke up and I realized, you know what? I built something in my life that I no longer want to carry. And my business was highly profitable. People were praising it. My calendar was full, but I was not full. I was tired. I was uninspired. And I was feeling starting to feel really resentful about the work that I worked so hard to do and with the things that I had worked so diligently day in and day out for decades to accomplish. And I was kind of shocked. I was a little dismayed. It was kind of confusing because I was like, I don't understand why I'm not happier because I've worked my ass off to get what I have. Why do I feel this way? And that moment was a very poignant part in my journey. And again, this is one of the reasons why I'm sharing it with you. So in very early 2022, I walked away from 95% of my business. Not because it wasn't working, but because I wasn't willing to kind of live on autopilot anymore. I had 3 membership programs. I had all the coaching programs, the mastermind group, the certifications, full calendar. I was doing everything right, but I was miserable. I was burnt out. So I paused. I was working with a spiritual, teacher at the time, and she walked me through prepping and setting up for a 14-day spiritual retreat. The first 5 days of that was a vow of silence. Those of you who know me, I love a good conversation. And I never thought I could actually do 5 days of not talking. The first day was the hardest. The second day was the most frustrating. The third day was bliss. I was like, oh my gosh. And the reason why it was bliss is because I was actually starting to hear. Well, that was the day. So first day of not talking was like all ego. The second day, I was like inner dialogue of like fighting of like, I hate this. This is stupid. What's the point? Whatever. But I knew that I needed to stick it out. The third day was like bliss. I was like, yes, I could hear myself breathe. I could hear my intuition again. I could hear past all the clutter and past all the noise. And one of the questions that I asked myself during that third day that changed everything, when I was finally able to hear my own intuition speak past all the hullabaloo, was if I weren't afraid to let people down, what would I stop doing now? And the answer that came was crazy. It was burn it all down. That was the message that I received. close the memberships, eliminate the group coaching, archive all my old programs, and just focus on what lights me up the most. And I was like, what? Hold up. Because this was literally 95% of the work that I was doing. And that brings me to a quote that I read shortly before that. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is so poignant. It's a quote from Joseph Campbell, and he says, "We must be willing to let go of the life we planned so as to have the life that is waiting for us." And again, that's by Joseph Campbell. And sometimes this means letting go of the life and the business that we've built so that we can create the one that actually fits us now. And this is one of the things that I help women do and have been helping women do. Like, this is the thing. I started my business back in 1997, way back in the day as a side hustle, helping people declutter their lives. And as I grew and shared spiritually and all the things that I was doing, I was sharing all that stuff publicly. And so the pivot points that I made in my business kind of deviated away from just decluttering and moving into spiritual development and character development and all the other stuff, and then coaching and intuition and all the things. But at the core of all of it, one of my tried and true things was, does this resonate with you? Does this ring true for you? And if not, get rid of it. It's always been to simplify your life. Life is not complicated. We make it complicated. And it's easy to make it complicated because of the world that we live in today. But in reality, life is simple if we let it. Life is simple if we let it. And that has always been my tried and true thing that I work with women on is, where are you? Where do you want to be? And what is all the clutter that's getting in the way? Let's simplify what's going on, what you have in your life. Let's simplify those elements so that you can get back to the core and the root of what you actually want to experience in your life. And sometimes the successes that we worked so hard for, that we have fought tooth and nail for, sometimes when we get that, all of a sudden we're like, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. Or that success leads to another goal and another goal and another goal, and you build all these things, and all of a sudden you look around and you're like, wait a minute, this is not the mountain that I wanted to be on. Because you're climbing the wrong mountain. You thought this was the mountain that you wanted to be on. You thought this was the level of success that you wanted. You thought this was the version of success that you wanted. But then when you get there, you're like, oh shit, because you forgot to pause enough to reevaluate and say, am I still on the right path? Do I still want to do this? Does this still light me up? Does this still feel aligned? And this is that clutter that is hidden that can kind of derail us and derail our happiness and derail literally all the things in our life if we don't pause and just take a beat. Now, I'm not saying that you have to do a 14-day spiritual retreat. I'm not saying that you have to do a 5-day vow of silence. But the thing is give yourself permission to really ask yourself some pretty interesting questions. So if you're new here, grab a notebook or a journal. If you've been here for a hot minute, grab your journal because we got some homework to do. I've got 3 questions for you. Question number 1. Are you stuck in routines that used to work but now feel heavy or like you have to do them? Now, the routines that we have typically we created for a reason. We wanted to get a specific result. We did a routine. We got a result. We're like, oh, hell yeah. Yes, let's do this. But then you kept doing it and you kept doing it and you kept doing it. And the result that you were getting maybe faded, or now maybe you don't really need that result anymore. Maybe you're desiring or requiring a different type of result. So that's question number 1. Are you stuck in routines that used to work, but that now feel heavy? Question number 2, are you clinging to roles and responsibilities because you don't want to rock the boat? We've all been there, okay? Are you clinging to roles and responsibilities because you don't want to rock the boat. It's okay to be like, oh shit. Yes. It's okay. Now, number 3, are you making decisions based on what people expect of you instead of what you want? Again, this is a big one. Are you making decisions based on what people expect of you instead of what you want? Now, this is where the clutter kind of creeps in quiet layers, okay? The mental clutter, this is the overthinking every single decision because deep down, you know that something feels off. So you're like, oh, maybe if I think about this hard enough and I think about it from this angle and that angle, and you just literally overthink it to death, again, because something just feels off. So if you're like, if I try to figure out what feels off, then maybe this decision will make sense to me, okay? The emotional clutter. So layering on top of the mental clutter is the emotional clutter, the guilt, the resentment, the obligation, okay? The process clutter. Maybe it's systems and routines and processes that, again, they used to work, but they don't work anymore, or they no longer match the energy or the requirements of the season of life that you're in right now. They're no longer aligned. And then layering on top of that is you have the spiritual clutter. Are you building your life or your business out of fear or out of scarcity or out of an outdated identity? This is big. Like, this is one of the things that when I work with women, especially who are business owners, they're like, I'm a different person now, and I think that my business should evolve as such, but everybody knows me for this. And so what if I pivot? I'm like, what if? What if you pivot? Let's try it and see what happens. And that is terrifying for most women. I know, trust me, I've done it multiple times in my business. If you've been around for a hot minute, you've seen it multiple times. But you know what? My people, my tried and true people are still with me. And the cool thing, new people pop in and they're like, oh my God, I love you. You're amazing. And that's what your people are going to say too. But again, you know, if you look at these different layers, these layers of clutter, these feelings and all this stuff that's going on, they start to feel like a cage. And rearranging your furniture isn't going to fix it. Decluttering your inbox isn't going to fix it. These are the things that you really have to just stop and say, do I even want to live like this anymore? And this is the hard part of growth, not because you're failing, but because you've outgrown the thing that you once called your dream. And that's okay. It's okay to pivot. It's okay to evolve. If you don't evolve, you're stunted. If you don't evolve, you're stunted. Life is about evolution. It's about evolving into the you that is now, the relevant you in the world we live in the season of life that you're in. I'm 49. I'm getting ready to be 50. I don't expect me to have the same thoughts and mannerisms and habits that I did when I was 30 or when I was 20 or when I was 15. I would be stunted if I did. So I want you to share with me in the comments what part of your life or your business kind of feel like that you've outgrown right now, or really feel like that you've outgrown right now. And it's okay to admit it. And I want you to recognize when you write that down in the comments. Don't just watch this and not comment. Write it down. If you're still here, write this down. What part of your life or your business do you feel like that you've outgrown? And it could be a relationship. It could be your business or a certain facet of your business. It could be your job, your career. It could be where you live. And notice what feelings emerge when you write it down in the comments. Pay attention to that, because this is the thing, is when you can admit something to yourself, something happens. Something happens. And I don't want to take away from you what does happen, but pay attention to what happens. Pay attention to it, because it's a subtle shift. It's a subtle alignment that starts to happen. It's that little 1-degree shift where you start to pivot from the direction of that you know is wrong to all of a sudden admitting this and going, hang on just a second. And you start pivoting in the direction that feels more in alignment, that feels more authentic. Now, if this is hitting home for you and you realize that you have built a business or a life that no longer fits with who you are, and that you're just like, you know what, I really want to pivot into who I am now, but I have no idea what that looks like. I would invite you to explore working with me one-on-one. I've opened up a few spots for private coaching to help you seamlessly shift into this new space that feels more authentic. This isn't surface level work. This is deep, it's strategic, it's personal. And again, those of you who've been with me for a hot minute, you've seen me do this exact thing with my life and with my business. I have decades of experience with myself doing this, as well as decades of experience helping other people create these little 1-degree shifts in your life as well. We look at what is truly aligned in your life and what you can keep, and also what's cluttering up your time, your energy, your business if you have one, or your career. And we simplify everything down to what actually works for you. Because what you want next doesn't need to be forced. What you need is clarity, and you need a little bit of courage, and you also need support to get there from someone who has been there and done that. So if you're interested in working with me, click the link below, book your private session with me. Let's get clear, crystal clear on what stays, what goes, and what you're ready and willing to build right now. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, share it with your friends, and also hit that notification bell so you know every single time an episode is released. And for more support and resources, click the links below. Mwah! I'll see you back here next week.